These are in listen-only mode.
Hi, my name is Tom Franta. I'm the CEO of the Washington State Charter Schools Association, or WCHarters. I first want to thank the AWB for allowing me the opportunity to give a brief update on the charter school ruling impacting more than 1,200 families and more than 150 employees across the state of Washington. A quick primer on who we are at WCHarters. We are a professional membership organization that advocates for and supports high-quality public charter schools that meet the needs of historically underserved students. We also serve as a charter school incubator through our Leadership Center, which works with talented leaders selected to work with us as they design and implement high-quality public charter schools for communities across the state. All of our work centers on growing the number of high-quality charter schools available to all families, especially those who do not have access to high-quality public schools at this time. For joining me, I'm pleased to have this opportunity to provide some context around the recent Washington State Supreme Court decision and its potential impact on more than 1,200 families and students already being served by public charter schools, and share about the next steps that my organization and other advocates are taking to ensure that public charter schools remain a viable option for the families and communities currently being served, and the thousands more who can benefit from these schools in the future. As many of you know, late in the afternoon on Friday, September 4th, the state Supreme Court made a surprise ruling that struck down our state's voter-approved public charter school law. This came as a shock to us over Labor Day weekend. The decision came nearly a year after oral arguments before the court and more than 3 weeks after charter schools had opened to serve families, and had an immediate impact on the 1,300 students already attending public charter schools in Washington, and potentially impacted the countless thousands that were hoping for an opportunity to attend an innovative public charter school in the future. There are also about 150 jobs at stake at these schools across the state. Immediately following the decision, students, parents, and a broad community of advocates joined forces and held rallies at public charter schools across the state, calling on Governor Inslee to take immediate action to call a special legislative session to address what we collectively believe was an unjust ruling. While the governor unfortunately declined to call a special session, our legal options are not yet exhausted. Together with the State Attorney General's office, who's defending the will of the voters who passed the charter school law in 2012, and our growing base of families, advocates, and community supporters, we are pursuing both short and long-term solutions to ensure that the more than 1,200 students currently attending our 9 public charter schools still have access to their excellent public charter schools in the future. After all, these students and families attending our charter schools have selected these schools as the best option available to them in their community. The schools right now are still open and operating as public charter schools and will continue to do so unless a final ruling comes down from the King County Superior Court at some point in the future. Before we dive further into the decision itself, let me tell you a little bit about what charter schools are here in Washington. Charter schools are a type of public school. Like all public schools, they do not charge tuition, they're open to all students, and they are publicly funded. However, charter schools are held more accountable for showing improved student achievement. In exchange for greater accountability, teachers and principals are given more flexibility to customize their teaching methods and curriculum to improve student learning. In 2012, through a voter-passed initiative, Washington became the 42nd state to adopt a charter school law. Currently, the Attorney General, along with WCHarters, is vigorously fighting to uphold the will of the voters to keep charter schools open in our state. Charter schools were created to help improve our nation's public school system and offer parents another public school choice option to better meet their child's specific needs. The core of the charter school model is the belief that public schools should be held accountable for student learning. In exchange for this heightened accountability, School leaders are given flexibility to do whatever it takes to help students achieve and should share what works with the broader public school system so that all students have the chance to benefit. All children have the opportunity to achieve at a high level, and public charter schools are helping to meet that need. Charter schools are among some of the top performing schools in the country. They're closing the achievement gap. They're raising the bar of what's possible and what should be expected in public education. And a higher percentage of public charter school students are accepted into colleges or universities, exactly what our workforce needs in Washington. Now let me tell you a little bit about the Labor Day ruling. In a first-of-its-kind decision in this country, the Washington State Supreme Court ruled Washington's public charter school law unconstitutional because of a century-old precedent that said public charter schools cannot receive public funding because they are not common schools that elect school board members. Similar cases dealing with similar constitutional provisions have been decided across the country, all in favor of public charter schools. So our Supreme Court, if you look at the picture on the screen, relied on the decision in 1909 impacting where kids can go to school today. To be clear, the court did not make the ruling based on merit, quality, or performance of public charter schools. They based it on a legal glitch. Our state's law has been recognized as one of the strongest in the nation for its commitment to quality while remaining open to innovation. It allows professional educators to educate free from unnecessary and oftentimes burdensome regulation. Without these artificial constraints, our tax dollars wind up where they belong, in the classroom, meeting the needs of Washington State public charter school students. All 9 public charter schools are currently open and serving students. The state's Attorney General, the 9 public charter schools, my association, and many others are doing everything possible to keep all 9 public charter schools open through the rest of this year and beyond. Priority, first and foremost, is to keep educating their more than 1,200 students and minimize any disruption to the students and their families. A majority of Washingtonians support public charter schools, and Washingtonians overapprove the state Supreme Court's decision. In fact, new research shows that 71% of Washington voters want to see legislative action to ensure charters can continue. All living attorney generals in the state of Washington, including former Governor Gregoire, former Supreme Court Justice Philip Talmadge, and others have publicly denounced the decision. Governor Gregoire specifically noted that as a former attorney general, she was very surprised by the ruling. She noted that the minority opinion in the case was spot on. Gregoire also pointed out that the case is before the court for some time, noting that the court has to be aware of the implications of a decision like this and what it means to the children and the families. When they have their children all scheduled to go to school and then are put on a moment's notice that your kid has no place to go, the decision is not right, is not fair, she said. The same glitch the court says disqualifies public charter schools from receiving funding could also defund tribal schools, Running Start, and any other public school that isn't directly supervised by an elected board. The state's Attorney General has even said that the decisions could invalidate a wide range of school programs that provide students with college credits while still in high school, as well as technical and career educational programs, which many businesses in Washington rely upon. Programs like these are necessary to ensure that Washington kids can obtain the skills necessary to meet the growing demands of our employers. The legislature needs to fix this glitch. The legislature needs to fix the glitch that potentially impacts not only charters, but also other successful public school programs like tribal compact schools and Running Start. This decision has a major negative impact on the future of Washington's workforce. Moreover, the fight for charter schools is a matter of upholding the will of the voters. It was the will of the voters of Washington who approved the public charter school law, and unless the legislature takes action, 6 judges will overturn the votes of more than 1 million Washingtonians. We believe it is the job of the legislature to work for the people that elected them, and they must find a solution that preserves the will of the people of Washington and ensures that all of the impacted programs have a safe, secure, and constitutional funding stream. Children learn in different ways, and public charter schools provide parents with a greater variety of public school options so they can find the right fit for their child's learning style. Shutting down every public charter school reduces parent choice and takes us back in the direction of a one-size-fits-all approach to classroom instruction. School performance across the state tells us that students and families need more high-quality educational options, not have them taken away. The fight for public charter schools is also a fight for social justice. Nearly 2/3 of the students in public charter schools are from low-income families, and almost 70% are from students of color. Allowing charter schools to close down will disproportionately affect families who turn to charter schools because their child was in a poorly performing school and wasn't receiving the right kind of support to succeed. Closing charter schools forces these children right back into a school environment that was not working for them or their families or their communities. 2 weeks ago, the State Attorney General asked the court to reconsider its ruling. As an intervening party in the case, WaCharters also has the opportunity to submit a motion for reconsideration. We have until October 23rd to file this motion, which we intend to use. In the meantime, both the AG's office and WaCharters have filed motions to stay or delay the ruling in order to mitigate the unnecessary disruption to these more than 1,200 students and families mid-school year. How can you help? First, by supporting the legislature and the governor. Looking ahead to January, we need the legislature and the governor to hear the messages that I've shared with you and get to work to save public charter schools and other potentially impacted programs. I invite you to join a growing coalition of parents, advocates, and community-based organizations in calling on your local legislators and the governor to do whatever is necessary to keep public charter schools a reality in Washington for the long term. If you'd like to get involved, I urge you to email me either at tom@wacharters.org or at info@wacharters.org and let us know you'd like to join our coalition. Second, unfortunately, this Supreme Court's decision leaves the funding of these 9 public charter schools in doubt, along with the education of more than 1,200 students across the state. This is unacceptable, and these children deserve our support immediately. Thus, working with the same groups of parents, advocates, and community members, our association is growing a broader coalition of supporters who are providing charitable donations to ensure that public charter schools can continue to operate and educate students for the remainder of this school year, while we pursue a longer-term legislative fix. Let us be clear, this funding is emergency relief to ensure that these schools remain open and these kids can pursue the public education they deserve. It is not a long-term fix. Private funders have stepped in because the public system failed these more than 1,200 kids. While the governor might see this emergency funding as a resolution, there must be a long-term public funding solution for these students and the many other families looking for additional high-quality public school options for their kids. Knowing that you all have busy schedules, please feel free to show by joining our coalition of funders. Please visit wacharters.org to make a one-time or recurring donation to our cause. We are a 501c3 entity, and any donations you make are tax deductible. With that, I want to just thank you for taking the time to listen to this webinar and this presentation. Please feel free to reach out to us with any questions you might have about public charter schools in Washington and what you can do to help us in the future. Thank you.
All right, Tom, very nice. Do you have any questions? Anything I can do for you before I sign this off?
I don't think so.
All right.
If you can just send us the link when your comms folks finish up, I would greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that, this will be a really good video to have because people don't have to sit down for an hour to listen and, good points and everything that they'll be able to go over. So if you don't have anything else, I am going to close down the webinar. That'll disconnect the audio link between us. And if you have any questions, you can email me or Jackie or Amy, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.